All right. Welcome. 1 second here. Is this on? Yeah. We're holding over here in the Maayon al Tatzur as Moav from the Mittler Rebbe. We're holding in part 3, meaning there's the third shiur we're giving on this Maayon. And we're holding on page Chaf, in the middle of the page, by the second paragraph, beginning V'inyan ki yadua. So I'm not going to review much information, because if that would be the case, we have 7 hours of information to review. For anybody that wants to hear the earlier shiurim, they're on YouTube, they're on our website at maayon.com, and they're also on Facebook. So you can listen to them and the various different podcasts, so they're all there. This is Chayla, the third part. We're holding over here, so what was the idea that we were talking about? We were learning how the reason we were told that we should not conquer the lands of Moav and the lands of Edom and the lands of Ammon, which are 3 lands that God promised Avram Avinu. The reason we were told not to take those lands is because the land of Eretz Yisroel is divided into 2 parts. One that was meant to be ours when we went out of Egypt way back then, and then the other part that gets added on later to Eretz Yisroel, and that's the land, the other 3 countries. So Hashem promised Avram Avinu, he promised him the full land, the land of 10 nations, but it was meant to be possessed in 2 stages. And he explained the reason why. The first stage is the conquest of the 7, because the 7 represent the 7 emotions, and we have to first do the repair in the 7 emotions, because that's where the main mess, cosmic mess that took place when Hashem deliberately shattered the vessels so that there should be a mess, so we can have some challenge in our life, so that we can feel accomplished, that we cleaned something up and rectified something. And then ultimately, after we were partners with Hashem in the rectification, so we basically create a world together with God. That's the idea. We together with Him create the utopian existence that's going to be characterized as Mashiach existence. So we need to do some fixing first. The fixing is the fixing of the 7 emotions. Those 7 emotions were rooted, the fallen sparks from the 7 emotions are rooted in Eretz Yisroel. And so when we conquered Eretz Yisroel, it also meant purification of these emotions. And we have to do the work there. It's not just a conquest. It's the work. It's the constant work in the land of Israel through all the application of Torah and mitzvahs. And as we explained in the earlier classes, that when you live your life in accordance to the filter of Judaism, the filter of Torah and mitzvahs, you're really filtering your emotions. Because you get the emotions of a person naturally are haywire. They're all over the place. They're running in every direction. They want to grab everything, have everything. You know, that's the way. They're aggressive. And that's the point. When you live a life dictated by Torah, it's a purification of one's character. It inevitably, because you're constantly, this yeah, this no, this yeah, this no. You're not having what you want. You have to first consult with a higher authority. That's the power that we learned earlier. The Chachma is bedidu. It's the power of Chachma that decides what's right, what's in, and what's out. What's good, what is accepted, and what is not acceptable. What is to be rejected. So a people, millions of people living in the land of Israel in accordance to the direction of Torah ends up this purification. Now, in order to finish up the purification, we left the land of Israel and were scattered amongst the 70 nations, again 70, to finish that tikkun. Once we're done with now there's no reason for us to have the land of the 10, because there isn't any work in the other 3, meaning to say the last 3. There's no work to be done in the other 3. Because the other three, as we explained in the earlier class, even though they were impacted by this cosmic collapse, they weren't broken. And even if there was some kind of an injury in the Chachma and in the Bina, so to speak, some kind of a defect, and that's what enables that there should be some corrupted sciences or corrupted disciplines and teachings, intelligences that are not pure, but the corruption of the intelligence is far, far, far less than the corruption of the emotions. And that's why it's something that we don't have to fix, but the intellect will be self-repaired. What's the idea that it's self-repaired? The way it will be repaired is when there will be a huge increase in holy intelligence, the unholy intelligence will naturally disintegrate, and whatever is good in it will join holiness, and whatever is impure, essentially garbage and not good, will fall to the wayside. It doesn't require an aggressive, hands-on purification and an extraction, like the emotions do. And that's the reason why we don't have to be busy with it. We are busy purifying the emotions in life. And that's the life for the last 3,500 years. The purification of emotions that has impact on all of mankind. Now, once we are done this purification, automatically, that's the next stage. Once we're done the purification of the midos, of the world of Tohu, which involves a process, this is very important, which involves a process of turning darkness to light. Because in that purification process, you're taking certain things that are dark and you're elevating, especially through the project of tshuva, which enables even negative things to be converted. So once we're done with that conversion and that elevation, it causes a revelation, a higher revelation of intelligence. What's the connection? Why, as a result of our work in purifying our emotions, will it stimulate a revelation of higher intelligence? The reason for that is because the higher intelligence is not revealed yet, because naturally it is very private and very inward. It's very much part of the non-expressed light of God. It's embedded in the very essence of God. And because it's embedded in the essence of God, it naturally does not shine forth. It's hidden. And that's what we sometimes call darkness. It's dark because it's too personal, too inward, too much part of him. So it's not revealable. It's like a person has very deep secrets, not dark stuff, that negative things they're hiding. It's just things that are so deep, they're not going to share it only with someone that's very, very, very dear and very special to them. And maybe there are things that they don't even share with anybody because it's so deep, it's so essential to who you are. And then there's the stuff that you can talk about, no problem. They flow automatically from you. Those are usually more external things that you don't care about that much. What you care about very, very, very deeply, you don't talk that much. It's embedded. And we're dealing over here on levels of the subconscious that are even, you might even say it's not even revealed to the person himself. That's how deep we're talking. And in that sense, this is referring to God's essential intelligence. It's dark because it's beyond revelation. When we take darkness in this world, in the low world, and we convert it to light, we stimulate this darkness to emerge. That's the idea. That this higher darkness comes outward, exits, reveals itself. And that revelation is the revelation of Mashiach's intelligence. That's going to be the intelligence of Mashiach. It's going to be Torah like we've never seen before. As the pasuk says, Torah chadasha, a new Torah, ma'iti, from my very self, God says, Teitzei is going to emerge. And it's going to emerge and channel directly into Mashiach's soul. And Mashiach's soul is going to channel all that knowledge and light to humanity, to the Jewish people, and from the Jewish people to all of humanity. Let me read to you a little statement that was said by hold on over here. This idea that we're saying now, that there is going to be a unbelievable enlightenment in the world coming from Mashiach, and then this is really what the Rambam says. What are we going to do when Mashiach comes? The world is not going to be occupied with anything else but to know Hashem. So this is what the Rambam says. Now let me share with you a quote of someone quoting the Rambam. Hear this quote. This is someone quoting the Rambam. Hold on. A day will come when we won't be so focused on just working and avoiding disease. We'll need some new spiritual cause that binds us other than just the basics. Who made that statement? The time that will come up? This is Bill Gates just speaking. Saying, looking forward, he says, looking still further out into the future, Gates says he believes AI eventually forced us to redefine work itself and the role it plays in human life. He suggested we may evolve towards higher pursuits. He's quoting Rambam. He says that's it, because humans will have to start looking for something else, because there won't be disease. Because that will be taken care of already. There won't be the need for work. So, what am I bringing a proof from? Yeah, the point over here is that if the world is saying it already, means that this is already completely already Moshiach's days. This is the place where we're at. We are already at Yemoisa Mashiach. And anyways, but where's Mashiach going to get all that flood of knowledge? It's going to come from the work that we did today. Right? It's going to come from the work that we did today. All the work that we have done in converting darkness to light, is going to bring about the higher spiritual darkness to transform and to illuminate and to come pouring out. Okay, so that's what we learned. But we learned and automatically, and that's the idea. Once that happens, then the unholy knowledge, the unholy intelligence will repair itself. And that's the reason why then we're going to conquer those three countries. Edom, Ammon, and Moav, because they represent the unholy powers of Keser, Chachma, and Bina. But that's going to fix itself. We're not going to have to do the work in it. So the last thing we learned, however, is that revelation of godly light, this powerful revelation of Keser, Chachma, and Bina, or futuristic light, is going to come in two stages. That's why when Mashiach comes, we're going to pass by two bodies of water. One body of water that we're going to pass by is the river of Egypt, and the other water that we're going to pass is the Euphrates River. And he says, the first one is mentioned in Yeshaya when it says, V'hiko l'shiva nechalim, v'heinif yadei al anar. The pasuk says, the lashon over there is l'shoin yam Mitzrayim, the tongue of the sea of Egypt. So that's a river that comes out of the sea of Egypt, And that river is going to be split. That's Mashiach's. That's the first crossing. And then there's going to be another crossing when we enter into the 7th millennium. We're going to cross through another river. That's the river, that's the Euphrates River. And so obviously this has a deeper meaning. So the idea is as follows. These crossing of the rivers mean moving into this higher intelligence. That the deepest, core, essential, inner intelligence of God, that is completely private and inward, and it's not possible for it to reveal itself, yet it will reveal itself. As we spoke last week in the class, that's the meaning when it says in the pasuk that your rivers will be flooded with oil. The oil is this core essential knowledge. Pnimius HaTorah, the secrets of the Torah. They're going to be revealed. But the Rebbe says, the Mittler Rebbe says, that's still the first stage. Pnimius HaTorah being revealed is still the first stage. The second stage is much deeper, because what is this based on? Because when Hashem spoke to Moshe Rabbeinu, this is also all we learned this all on Tuesday night, when Hashem spoke to Moshe Rabbeinu, Hashem said to him, the first encounter, Moshe said, "What's your name?" And God says, "Eke asher eke." I will be who I will be. So Hashem is talking about the future. The future is I will be who I will be. The first I will be is the way you will know me after you cross the river in the days of Mashiach. That's the first I will be. Second I will be is the way you will know me in the 7th millennium. Then even deeper and even higher. When you cross the other river. Like that's why the Zohar says, Ani zamin le'izgalia. I am prepared to, I eventually will reveal myself. You ask me what my name, you will know me. So what's the difference between the two? So we learned, and this is where we're heading to right now, in the part that we're going to learn now, is the first one, is the Gilui, the revelation of the powers of the Eibishter, of the power of God's wisdom. Let's talk about wisdom. The wisdom of God, but the wisdom, the non-expressed wisdom. The wisdom of the Ein Sof. The expressed wisdom is already the attributes of wisdom. The wisdom as it's already being projected already. It's like a person's, in a human being, it would be the difference of a person's actual knowledge base. Everybody has a certain knowledge base that you have already, information that you have, ideas that are already in your mind, and then there is the potential mind. It's that the creative mind, before you emanate ideas, or let's go deep into the creative mind, where it's so deep that unless you work really, really, really hard on concentrating, you will not produce. That's what we're talking about. A level that is so much. It's not yet revealed ideas. It's the ideas that could come out of your mind if you, let's say, decide to concentrate on something for 30 years. They'll probably come up with some pretty revolutionary ideas. If you're concentrating on one topic, let's say, for 30 years, you'll go deeper and deeper. You'll really pump out some amazing stuff, right? And a regular thinking, the amount of energy that we put into ordinary extrapolation, to extrapolate concepts from our mind, we're usually not digging too deep because we're not trying too hard. But you're trying really, really, really hard and deep concentration, you'll pull out. So what we're saying is like this. The revelations that are going to happen in the first stage of Mashiach, the first stage, meaning before the second crossing of the river, is Hashem's hidden potential mind will come to revelation. Now we only have in the Torah, we have his revealed mind, not his potential mind. When Mashiach will come, we will have his potential mind actualizing itself. But it's still only God's mind. It's his power of his mind, of his intelligence, as it is embedded in him, not as it is expressed, but it's still a power in him. But then there is God's very self, not a power in him. He as he truly is. That is already going to be revealed only in the 7th millennium. Not the Chachma Shebekeser, Keser Shebekeser. That's the difference. First one is Chachma Shebekeser. It's the intelligence. That's why we're going to see in the first, these two crossings of the river are hinted to in the Oz Yashir, in the song that we sing, that the Jews sang right when they went out of Mitzrayim. And it says over there, Ad Yavor Amcha Hashem, until your people will cross. Ad Yavor, until they will cross, Amzu, this people, Kanisa, that you have acquired. So it mentions two crossings. So from here, the Zohar, the Chassidus says, is referring to the future crossings. Not what, because they crossed already the Yam Suf. What was going to cross in the future? But the interesting thing is that in the first one, it says Ad Yavar Amcha Hashem. It mentions Yud Kei Vav Kei. The second one, it says Ad Yavar Amzu Kanisa. It doesn't say this nation you have acquired, you acquired. It doesn't say God, who. It doesn't say Ad Yavar Amzu Kanisa Havaya, that you Havaya. It doesn't say that. It just says Kanisa, you acquired. The difference. The first one is still related to the first crossing, is the first revelation, is still related to a name of God. Why? Because what is Hashem revealing to us? He's revealing to us His power, His powers, His attributes. It's only that what level of attributes, the attributes as they are still embedded in the very soul itself, not the attributes in a state of exiting, not the attributes in their outer manifest state, but the attributes in their core essential state. But it's still attributes. And that's why it's related to Hashem's name, because Yud is Chachma, Hey is Bina. What is Hashem going to reveal to us? His deepest Chachma, but it's Chachma. So it's mentioning Yud Kei Vav Kei. The second crossing is not an attribute. Hashem is revealing His very self beyond all attributes. That's why this time it says you, not your name, because no more His name. It's not an attribute, even in the highest state of the attribute. The Inyanu, and this is what he explains over here. Can you do as it is known? When it says Veheya etzloi, eya etzloi amoin, the Torah says, I was by God. The Torah is speaking about itself. Shlomo HaMelech in Mishlei is channeling the words of the Torah talking. So the Torah says, coming, the Eya, you don't want to know about me? The Eya, I was, or I am, etzlo, by him, amon. I am by him, a hidden, a tool, an instrument. Chazal say it means, one meaning amon is, it means very precious, but here it means amon, it means klei umnasai. It's Hashem's tool, instrument tool. Because we know that God used the Torah to create the world. So that means it's his tool. The Eya, but then the Torah continues talking about itself. The Eya, and I am also Shashuyim. I am the delight of God, Yom Yom, day after day. Okay. So he's going to say that these two dimensions of revelation, one revelation is the revelation of Moshiach, the secrets of the Torah, and the second revelation is beyond the secrets of the Torah. The essence of Hashem Himself being revealed is these two phrases in the pasuk. One is, I am an instrument to Hashem. That's the first phase. And the second one, Shashuyim Yom Yom, delight every day, is referring to something higher, which is already related to Hashem Himself. We're going to see in a minute. As he explains, the Torah kadma la'olam, because as we know, the Torah precedes the world, alpayim shana, 2,000 years. V'nikra, whatever that means, not years in time, but v'nikra chachma keduma, and it's called the primordial wisdom, and as it's called mashal hakadmoini, the ancient parable. The Torah is referred to as an ancient parable. O yama kadmoini, or an ancient sea. What is the idea of being kedem? Kedem meaning that this is embedded in what precedes everything. The Torah is God's essential wisdom. Shezehu, what level are we talking about over here? B'chinas chachma, we're talking about wisdom. Sheba'or ein soif atzmo, the wisdom not as it is a sphera, not the chachma as it is an atzilus, in the world of atzilus, then it's already a definitive, specified power of God. We're not talking about that. We're talking about much earlier than that, when the chachma is still a potential in God. Chachma sheba'or ein soif atzmoi, the chachma that is in the or ein sof himself. V'nikra chachma shalamayla, it's called the higher chachma. Also hinted to when it says in I think in Ashrei or in the Halaluka later, ulitvunaso, and to his understanding, ein mispar klal, there is no number at all, meaning it's beyond enumeration, it's beyond. Chakim v'loy b'chachma yediyah, wise but not with an identifiable wisdom. Commercial, and it gives a very understandable example to that. Koyach hamaskil hahiyuli, the power of intelligence that is hiyuli means that is not yet intelligence, but it's the power from where all intelligence comes from. It's like example for that is that when we're trying to know something or figure something out, we concentrate. We concentrate on something, and we can sense that we're pulling from somewhere. And then an idea, hopefully, flashes in our mind. We have something to resolve the dilemma. Trying to figure out what to do. We're stuck in something and whatever. And then, boom, it hits you. So where did it hit you? So it flew into your consciousness, but you sense that it's coming from a place in your soul that's not stashed with a bunch of ideas. It's not like when you were born, you had the way to resolve this dilemma in your head. You didn't. It's not you were born with specific information. It's the power, the potential to create ideas, but it itself is not an idea. It's pre-ideas. It's the power to produce knowledge. And that's what he's saying, koyach hamaskil hahiyuli. It is the power, not of seichel, the power that makes seichel, hahiyuli, that is still undefined by intellect. It's not a shamaskil kol seichel, that intelligizes all intelligence, minahelim legilui, that produces it from the concealed state and brings it out to the revealed. But this power, shekolul be'etzem hanefesh, this power, while it is still included in the essential soul, before it has a knowable existence within the human being. V'nikra nefesh hasichlis. It's called the seichel, but the seichel of yours, it's not my mind. I have an intelligent soul, which means it's attributed over here to the soul. It's the soul that's not intelligence has the potential for intelligence, as opposed to when I say my mind. My mind is already a mind. This is not a mind. This is pre-mind. This is that the soul has a mind. That's the idea. Like he himself is the knowledge. It's higher than knowledge. Can you do it? And this is the level. When we say Torah is called Torah HaKeduma, this is the essential state of Torah. But this is not the Torah that we study. Why? Well, let's see now. The Torah says, Etzloi mamish omoin. The Torah says, I was by God omoin. Omoin meaning this instrument. Omoin umna. Umna comes from the word umna, which means a profession. Umin, like a professional or like a craftsman. Shaboino masakin davar ma, that builds or fixes something, repairs something. Bechachmasa ya'atzmis, with his essential chachma. What does that mean? You have a craftsman who's going to do a repair, and he's sitting there trying to figure out how is he going to repair this? How is he going to fix this situation? So he sits and he's thinking for a while, boom, 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 whatever it is. So he's pulling from what? The fact that he is he's an engineer, so he has that kind of a mind, he can figure out solutions. Now, once the solution drops in his mind, the particular solution, then he puts it, and then he actualizes it. Then he's going to put it into. So he's pulling on his essential power of intelligence. He's drawing from them. But then the concept comes in, the idea of how to do the repair comes into his mind. And what happens? And he makes the repair, okay? So what is coming out of his mind is a product of his essential power of intelligence. That's the product of it. And then the repair is the product of the product. So now it's like this. Kach yorad or mechachma hilah ha'atzmus. It descended to repair the world. Hashem created the world. When Hashem fixed the world. He created a world. Then Hashem gave us a Torah of how to complete the world. First of all, he created the world through the Torah. And then he gave us the Torah because he left certain parts that he wants us to repair. And he gave us the Torah to repair it. But just like a repairman has to pull a solution from his mind in order to do the repair. Right? Pull out or draw forth an idea. And then he's going to, based on that concept, and that's how he's going to apply his craftsmanship or his whatever it is, his skill to be able to do whatever it is that he's going to do. A light came down from the supernal chachma, ha'atzmis, the Torah shalamayla, of the essential God's wisdom of the Torah that's above. It descended where? Ba'abiyah, in Atzilus, in the four worlds of Atzilus, Bria, Yetzir, and Asi. Lesakein, in order to do a tikkun. Ulevarer, and in order to purify, Lereish Peches Nitzutz, in order to fix the 288 sparks that need to be corrected. Kamashakasav, like it says, Lasis Lesakein, that God created us to make a tikkun, and we use the Torah to make this tikkun. And how do we make the tikkun? The b'chachma sheb'Torah is biriru. We set the world right based on Torah. We apply the Torah, and that's how we do a tikkun in the world. Shazau mashakasav. Now this idea that came down to be the guiding light of the repair, that's not the essential Torah. That's the one concept that came out from the essential mind. Understand what I'm saying? This is the pure, and therefore this is called novlos chachma. Novlos means that which drops from a tree. You have a tree, you have things growing on a tree, and then there is like fruit, little leaves or things that drop from it. So the Torah that we're learning and the Torah that enters into the cosmos to fix it, that's a dropping from the essential chachma of the Eibishter. It says in Sefer Yetzirah. No, it's not a Sefer Yetzirah. It's a Medrash Rabbah. In Medrash Rabbah it says that there is three novlos. It says there's three droppings. Novlos chachma, the dropping of chachma. Shalamayla, Torah is Torah. Torah is only the dropping. No, Torah is not only the dropping. Torah is the Eibishter's essential wisdom. It's one with Him. But the Torah that comes down into the world to be a repair job for creation, that's a drop, so to speak, of the bucket that has fallen down, or it doesn't fall in it. It emerged out and lowered itself in order to deal with the mess that's still in the world that needs to be fixed. And this is what it says in Zoyar on the pasuk in Mishlei. It says Chachmois bachutz taroina. Chachmois, wisdoms, and it says it in the plural. Wisdoms bachutz, outside. Taroina, they sing. Wisdom sings outside. So what does that mean? So the Zoyar says this is referring to two wisdoms.
Chachma ilah, the higher wisdom, which as we said before is the source of wisdom, the ismashich gets drawn from there bechachma tata into the lower wisdom to correct, do the repair in creation. That's called, it's descending from the higher wisdom into the lower wisdom. Now, where do we see this idea that in Chachma there are two daragos, there are two levels? There is the essential core wisdom, the source of knowledge, and then there is the knowledge that's called Chachma Tata, the lower wisdom. It's also seen, Chachma is compared to water. So we say that Chachma is compared to water. And in water, we know that Hashem put the sky and he split the waters. The Eibishter split the sky and he split the waters. He split the higher waters from the lower waters. So the higher waters is Chachma Shalomayla. The higher waters, the Rakia, is the firmament that separates, is the higher wisdom. And then there's Lamayan Tatayin. Then there is the lower waters. That's already the Torah as it descends to become our guiding light. But in Yemoisa Mashiach, what's going to happen? The very Chachma Ilah itself, not is going to produce an idea. The entire brain, the entire pre-intelligence is going to come down. That's the idea. As opposed to it, I'm sorry for using a word, I don't mean that, just that you get the idea. In opposed to it spitting out an idea and it remaining aloof, the Chachma Ilah itself is gonna reveal itself. Shabi Yemoisa Mashiach and the Yemoisa Mashiach Yiftechu, it will open up Mabuin, the Chachma Ilah, the flow from the higher Chachma, Sheyischaber b'Maayon Tatoin, which will attach itself to the lower waters, Shehu Chachma Tata, which is considered the lower Chachma, the lower wisdom. Okay, so now that's when he says that when the Torah is saying about itself, I'm the Uman, I'm the one who's fixing, I do the repair. The kasha, but here's what happens. Kasha chachmasai amdaloi lesaken davar ma hamakulkul bechachmasai. When a person uses an idea that he's had, okay, and he applies it. He applies it to a problem, to something that needs to be repaired. So he takes his solution and applies it. Now you never know, because when you're doing a new repair job that you've never done before, and you're sitting there scratching your head. You can be a really good craftsman, a really good professional, and whatever it is that you're doing. And you're sitting there trying to figure out what it is that you're going to do in this situation. And then you have an idea, but you're not exactly sure. You might kill the entire system doing it. The electrician can come in, macham, one thing and blow the whole situation. He needs to make sure that he's getting the right thing and he's trying it. So when it works, and bingo, he scores big, what happens is that this enriches his power of creativity, of his creative mind. This goes back, the final application. As long as the idea is an idea in his head, it's not yet adding that. But when it's applied and it does a tikkun, that, I guess, the thrill of it, the hisgalus hanefesh that happens as a result of that, causes an increase in his chachma ha'atzmis, because it satisfies, it seems, the etzem hanefesh. And because it brings a tainug atzmi, because it brings this deep satisfaction in the very, very being of the person, so the energy is drawn from the very, very core, and therefore the pre-intellect, which is the koyach hamaskil, the koyach hachachma ha'atzmi, the essential power of chachma, is now given a boost and empowered because of it. We all know how successful we are once we've seen achievement already. We've seen that we were able to do it, and we were able to accomplish it. And in the other place, the Mittler Rebbe says these words. He says, this is the meaning of it, Ein chacham kebal hanisoyon. That a real chachma is someone who, when something has been put to the test. When you put it to the test, so what's going to happen? He's applying that. The Eibishter had an idea of how to fix the world. And that idea is Torah and mitzvahs. But it's a theory. It's a theoretical idea. He doesn't know for sure it's going to work. He gives it to us, and we've been doing this for thousands of years. Once the tikkun is done, and that's what Mashiach is, we finished the tikkun of the world, and the Torah worked. So that's going to increase, it's going to increase the chachma of the chachma ha'atzmis, the essential chachma of the Eibishter is, I would shaykh to say, on such a deep level, an increasement. It will be enriched, and that enrichment will flow into Mashiach's mind and be that added, and that relates to what we were saying earlier, how the tikkun of turning darkness to light, which is part of this process, is what triggers and increases the flow of intelligence exponentially much more than ever before. These words, when is Chachma worked to fix something that needed fixing, and he got to fix it with his idea. Great power is then intensified or added in the essence of the supernal Chachma, the Torah Kedosha of the Holy Torah. Kidu as it is known. That's why Chachma is bachutz taroina. When does the Chachma sing? Bachutz, when it goes outside. Dafka, when the Chachma Ilah descends into the world to make the repair in the lower Chachma, and does a repair down here, taroina, it begins to sing, because it itself is enriched. Shazau shenikra, this level is called Tairasai umnasai. The Torah is his umnus. Now, usually we use the term Tairasai umnasai is for a person who all day and night studies Torah, and that's his profession. But according to what we're learning over here, the meaning of Tairasai umnasai is that someone fixes the world through his Torah. His Torah is his umnus of repair, of tikkun. And by the Eibishter, it means Tairasai umnasai. V'haya etzloi. There was a positive. The Torah says, "I am the Eibishter's umnus. I'm the Eibishter's and this is going to take place in the days of Mashiach. Once we're completed all the birurim of the Eitz Hadas, which is that original mixture that brings about the confusion and the whole mess. Al Yedei Torah mitzvahs. Through Torah mitzvahs kniskel, as we said earlier, Al Kain Omar, that's why it says, Yaskil Avdi, my servant Mashiach, who is the channel of all, is Yaskil Avdi, will have wisdom like no one else before. As we said before, his chachma is going to be way beyond Shlomo HaMelech. He's going to be unparalleled to the wisdom of Mashiach. Why? Sheyor by Pnimi Yisroel the Chachmi Allah, the inner light of Chachmi Allah, Hakaduma, the primordial Chachma, Shebederach Klal. In general, what's this level? Hu bebchinas Eitz HaChaim. This is the meaning. Once we finish repairing the Eitz Hadas, then the true essence of the Eitz HaChaim is revealed, tree of life. And once we have the tree of life, we live on forever. There's no more klipa, there's no more death, there's no more suffering, there's no more illness, and so on. Where am I holding? I'm holding on page Chaf Aleph. Okay, and page Chaf Aleph towards the middle of the page. Yeah. Sheyar by Pnimis or the Chachmei La Gduma Shebederach Klal Ubchenes Eitz HaChaim Shalamaylam Eitz Hadas Lagamar. This is the tree of life that's higher than the Eitz Hadas. Like it says, Ki Eitz Chayim Ki Lamachazikim. It is a tree of life to those who hold on to it. Rak Sheyar Dovin Islapsha Be'Eitz Hadas Levarara. As we said earlier, the Torah itself is essentially this higher Eitz HaChaim. It's just that in order for the 6,000 years, or at least for 3,500 years that we have the Torah has descended where? Into the Eitz Hadas to do a repair, to do a fix. But when the fix is over, then it's going to be Nizgala. The Torah is going to reveal itself as it is, not mislabish, not enclosed and invested in the Eitz Hadas. And how will it reveal itself? But on the other hand, this is a very, very private, it's very, very inward. How does it reveal itself? When we can cause the supernal darkness to transform to light. In other words, something so private that it's dark, it's a mystery, it's hidden, And when that will come out to a state of light. Why? The chol helem atzmusai balidei giloi. The entire concealment of the Eibishter's, in Hashem's essence, comes to a revelation beside the Torah and the secrets of the Torah that will be revealed through Mashiach Kana. V'zehu, and this is the meaning of, and we said before, Eke Asherah Eke. Eke, I will be. This is the revelation of Hashem saying, I will. Now I'm still a mystery, but I will reveal myself. Ano Zamin, I will reveal myself. But this is only the first Eke. What did we say? Eke Asherah Eke. The second stage of Gilui is even deeper than that. I mentioned earlier. This happens through Mashiach. The next one is already the Gilui of the Eibishter himself that comes about in the Elef Hashvi, or in the Elef when we complete the Elef Hashishi, we enter into Shabbos. But this that it says in the pasuk, ve'eya shashuyim, I will be shashuyim, who eka habez. That's the second eya. Eka. The zamin li is galia ba'olam haba. I'm going to reveal myself in the world to come. Dafka kanal. Shazeu shakasav. This is the second time it says ad yavor. That's the first ad yavor. The second ad yavor. Ad yavor stam lamaila. I will, until he crosses, stam, it doesn't say who. Lamaila Meshem Avaya Lagamri, completely beyond the name of Yud Kei Vav Kei. V'zeu, and this is what it says, Amzu, this people, Kanisa, that you have acquired. Who? Ba'atzmus, the Orein Sof Mamish, the essence of the Orein Sof himself, not the powers of the Orein Sof, but the essence of the Orein Sof. Shelamaila Gam Mibchenas Torah Akdosha. That is even higher than the Holy Torah, or Torah HaKaduma, than the primordial Torah. This is the delight of the king in himself. Mamish, kemoi, bechinas yechida shebenefesh. Like we speak about the person's yechida. Yechida is the deepest point of life, of your being, of your soul. Shalamayla gam mikoyach haseichel hakolol ba. That's beyond the power of intellect that's included in it. Now, we spoke earlier, the soul itself has within itself all the kochos, but on that level they're not definable, but yet there's still a koyach within the nefesh. So therefore it's still a something. But then there is the person himself, the one who, the nefesh, the soul itself, that has the koach. And even before we even speak about a koach, it's just he, himself. That's what we're talking about in the next revelation. Not the koiches atzmiyim. It's not a koach, it's God himself. For hu b'chenas Eden, and this is the level of Eden itself. The olam haba of the world to come. And on that we say, on Eden, the pasuk says, ayin loy ra'asa, no eye has seen it. And when we say no eye has seen it, this includes afilu Moshe, this includes Moshe, Mashiach, and even Mashiach. No one has seen that, and that's God's own revelation that he will reveal. This is the hidden level of Atika. Atika stima, in Atik, the hidden of Atik. Shenikra stima, the kol stimin, the hidden of all hidden. The leis machshava tfisa be klal. There's no thought grasping over here, but over here we say klal, at all, at all. Afila machshava hakduma. Even the first machshava, the first thought, which means the first level of chachma. Even the chachma in its most quintessential state is not grasping this. This is beyond even the chachma as it is embedded in the Eibishter. This is the pure pleasure of Atzmos himself, of the very essence of God. Atzmos hashashuyim, of the essence of delights. She'enoi murkiv, that it's not blended, gam b'chachma hakduma, even in the primordial chachma. Haniskaliyah. Shehu b'chenas keser shebekeser. Before we're talking about chachma shebekeser. See, the regular chachma that we usually talk about, revealed chachma, is chachma. The higher chachma that Mashiach will reveal is chachma shebekeser. And this is keser shebekeser. Shehu b'chenas keser shebekeser b'chlal, shenikra ratzon, it's called will. The tainug atzmi, and the essential pleasure. She'ein tam l'ratzon klal. Over here you can't even talk about reasons. What Mashiach is going to reveal is the hidden reasons of the Torah, the secrets of the Torah, the hidden reasons of the mitzvahs. But here we're talking about a level that's beyond reason completely. It's beyond all reason. It's the pure level of will and pleasure. Afilu tam komos desoidos upnimius razin daraisa. It's even beyond the hidden secrets, the innermost secrets of the Torah. Shan tamei mitzvahs, which are the reasons of mitzvahs, that's going to reveal itself when Mashiach comes, but this is going to be the next stage. V'hu kanavu pnimiyas va'atzmus the Ein Sof mamish. This is the innermost and the essence of the Ein Sof himself. Koidim sheba l'chlal b'chinas giloi. Before he even enters and comes at all to a state of giloi, of revelation. Hear this. Not just before he's in a state of revelation, but even before he's in a state of darkness. What is Mashiach going to reveal? Mashiach is going to take the primordial darkness and transform it to light. The core essential koiches of the Eibishter's embedded chachma that's embedded in him, I should say embedded, it emanates from him, but in the level when it's still emanating within him, which is not revealable, and Mashiach is going to reveal it. That's called taking the darkness and transforming to light. But what we're talking about over here is prior to being it's not shaykh to the whole concept of concealment and revelation. It's totally beyond that. And therefore it's not even in the realm of darkness. It's Hashem is the one who creates darkness and light. And this is beyond the darkness and beyond, obviously it's, in our case, if it's beyond the darkness, it's for sure beyond the light. That's beyond the darkness. It's before Behel and the Choshech va'Or Elyon. It's higher than the whole concept of Choshech and Or, of darkness and light, of the supernal darkness and light. Now there's an extra kuf over here. I don't know what this is for. It's just a mistake. But on the bottom he does say that you add a vav before the word efes. The efes kotzeyu. I think he says that in the bottom. Or maybe I'm just making that up. It would make sense that there should be a vav over here. The efes kotzeyu. You know what? There's no vav, so I'm not going to say the vav. Efes kotzeyu, and just a tiny little bit. Now, of this core essential level, of this, which is beyond the Torah, because the Torah is the Eibishter's wisdom, and it's infinitely beyond the Torah. The tail end of it, whatever this can mean, efes kotzeyu, a little tiny bit of it, a drop of it, nimshach meshashuyim ha'atzmim gam b'Torah. A little bit is nimshach and drawn into Torah. How do you know it's drawn into Torah? Very simple. This whole idea of shashuyim yoim, who's talking? The Torah is saying about himself. Ve'eya, I am shashuyim yoim. So if the Torah is saying that, and we're saying that this is the level that's preceding even the potential wisdom, this is preceding even that. This is the essence of the Eibishter himself. So why is the Torah? Then it's beyond the Torah. What's the Torah's business to say? Ve'eya, I am. The answer is a little bit of this, a tinge, a touch of it, is invested in the Torah as well. And that's why the Torah, meaning the Torah touches on this place. The essential level of the Torah on its own is chachma, is wisdom. Yes, potential wisdom, but still wisdom. But since ultimately wisdom comes from God itself, so the Torah is rooted in the Eibishter, and that's why there's a certain point where the two touch. And this is probably what it means, that the efes ketzeyu nimshach meshashuyim ha'atzmim, from this level, gam b'Torah hakaduma, also in the Torah, k'moi be'Eden elyon, just like we say, it's revealed in Eden. This is the Eibishter himself, yet it's revealed in Eden. So it's revealed in Torah. That's why the Torah says, I am this level of shashuyim. Ukemoi, or like it says further in the pasuk, misachekes lefanav, I entertain before him. So I guess he's taking the word before him means in the deepest core of the Eibishter, misachekes, I entertain b'chol eis, at all time. So this is this. For who ba'olam haba, but when is this going to reveal itself? V'hu ba'olam haba, it's going to reveal itself in the world to come. Sheyizgal ha'oyer ha'atzmos de'ein sof. The essential light of the Ein Sof will reveal itself. K'moi shehu mamish, as it is for itself, not in a projected way. Every projection is already going away from the essence. It's not a projection. It's as it is. Bare bones, that's the way it's going to reveal itself. For whom Masha Kosiv, Asher Eke. Remember we said earlier, Eke, Asher Eke, going back to the Pasuk in Shemos. This is the second Eke. Ano zamin li'izkalo. I will reveal myself. K'moishahu ba'amitas mohus atzmusa yizbarach. As he is in the very truth of his very being, mamish. And this is the second passing. Benahar Paros, that we're going to pass through in the Euphrates River. Which this is the river that goes out of Eden, to water the garden. Now, what does it have to do with the Euphrates River? Because Chazal say that when it says, and I mentioned this last class, that when it says that there's one river that goes out of Eden, and then it goes down and it waters the garden, and then from the garden it forks into 4 rivers. And the last one of those 4 rivers is the Euphrates River. That's what the Pasuk says. So Chazal say that the very last one, which is the Euphrates River, is not an offshoot, but that's the river itself. The other 3 are offshoots, but not the Euphrates. The Euphrates, the Nahar Paros, this is the very river that goes out of Eden. This is the one. So therefore, if we cross the Euphrates River, what does it mean? We're crossing the river that takes us into Eden. And this is the revelation of Eden itself. Beyond Mashiach, beyond Moshe, which reveals the revealed Torah. Why did he mention Moshe and Mashiach, I think? Because Moshe gave us the revealed Torah. That's the first level of Torah. Mashiach comes and gives us the essential Torah. And this is beyond the whole level of Torah to begin with. So therefore, and this is in Eden itself. The Nohar Zehu HaMafsik, because it's this river that separates Bein HaEden Atzmoi, between the Eden itself, LeGan Eden, to the Gan Eden. Gan Eden is a garden that's watered from Eden, but it's not the Eden itself. LeGan Eden HaElyon, to the higher Gan Eden. And to prove this idea further, that this level of Eden, which is the core essential Olam Haba revelation, Elaf Hashvi, the 7th millennium, the revelation that's going to be then, that it's higher than the deepest revelations of Torah. It's the revelation of God himself, not his Chachma. You can see, because this is the revelation of Eden. What did we say before is the Torah? Torah is called Eitz HaChaim. Now the Eitz HaChaim, the tree of life. The tree of life is not in Eden. Where's the tree of life? In Gan Eden. In Gan Eden, there are 2 trees. That means that the Eitz HaDas, okay, it's for sure in Gan Eden. But even the Eitz HaChaim is not in Eden, it's also in Gan Eden. That means that if we're going past, and what's the Eitz HaChaim? The secrets of the Torah. The core essential secrets revealed by Mashiach. But now we're going, it's like going through the garden. We've gone through the garden, and there's a river, and we start hiking up the river. And we follow the trail. And then there's a gushing river. It's impassable. So Mashiach comes or whatever, and he splits the river. And then we cross over into Eden. That's on the other side of the river. And that's Eden. So you see that Eden is much higher than the Eitz HaChaim, which is the secrets of the Torah. It says, V'gam Eitz HaChaim, because even the tree of life, Shebetoich HaGan, that's in the Gan. Einoi be'Eden Atzmoi is not in Eden itself. V'chol aliyos haneshamois, and now all the elevations of souls, hagvoyos, all the great neshamas, ka'avois, like the Avos HaKadoshim, like our forefathers, Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moshe v'Aaron, and Moshe and Aaron, sheyelchu mechayel al chayel, that keep on going. These are the highest souls that go from strength to strength. We have no clue how high they soar continuously, deeper and higher and higher and higher. Lo yiro Eden atzmai. They're still hanging out in the Gan. They're still within that tree of life. They have never gotten past the tree. Lo yiro Eden atzmai. They have not seen Eden itself. This is the king delighting in himself, not in any of his features. It's not the king's features, it's who he is, it's very being. No one saw that. He's way beyond everything. But when we will cross this river, then this river comes from Eden to Gan Eden. And once we cross the other way, upstream, we cross the river, Yagiyu, we will arrive L'bchenas Eden ha'elyon hanal, to this higher Eden, for whom Mashakasav, and this is what it says, Lo'olam yirshu oretz, forever they will inherit the land. Which land is this? This is the ultimate land, the land of Eden. Eretz Chayfetz, the land of desire. Shalamayla gam megan Eden ha'elyon. It's even higher than the supernal Gan Eden, which is the Eitz HaChaim. It's even higher than that, the Achshav of now. Kamaimer, as the Chazal say, Im toimar gan ze Eden? Chazal ask a question. Are you telling me that the Gan is Eden? So Chazal say no. Since it says a river goes from Eden lahashka, he says Gan is a sign that the Gan is not Eden. The Gan lechud, the Gan is alone, and Eden is alone. And the Gemara says that all the prophecies spoke about was only of the Gan Eden. But the Eden itself, ayin le'ra'asa, no eye has seen it. For who b'chinas pnimiyas hakeser b'chlal. This is in general, the idea of pnimiyas hakeser. Now the next piece, tul ume'ata, I was having trouble with. Maybe I'll untrouble now, but I was having trouble, meaning I didn't. Maybe they're not letting me into this place over here. I'm knocking on the door the whole week, trying to read this piece again and again, trying to figure it out. I mean, I have a little bit better just recently. I was able to get up a little in, I think, but not. Now, I think, let's read first the words. For Olam Haba, and Olam Haba, which is this higher level, Gamhu Nikra Pras. It's still only called a portion. L'chura, how can you say that this is only a portion? This is him himself. You're getting to experience God himself as he is, as we said before, in his bare bones. This is him himself. But it's also called only a pras. Pras means a piece. In Chassidus it says, don't serve God. The Mishnah says in Pirkei Avos, in Ethics of the Fathers, serve Hashem shaloy al manas lekabel pras, not to receive a reward. In Chassidus it says, because a reward is only a pras, it's only a piece. You don't want a slice, you want the whole thing. Like the Alter Rebbe says, ich will nicht dein Gan Eden, ich will dir allein. I only want you. But he says, how can it be? So we'll see in a minute. I might have a little explanation on this. V'chatzi hakeser, and only half the crown. Didn't he just say it's the pnimius of the crown? How does he call it over here? Only half the crown. When we say half, it l'chura means the external half. Gematria Shai, because Keser is Gematria 620. Half of 620, right? So Keser is Gematria 620. Half of 620. I see the moment you hear that we're only getting half, you're out. Take care. Shkoyach. So the Keser is what? Keser is 620. Half of Keser. Take 620, divide it in half. It's 310. 620 divided in half is 310. And 310 is what? Called Yesh. And it says that in the future, what are we going to give? What is the Eibishter going to give us? Lahanchil lo'hava Yesh. Hashem is going to give us Yesh. Lahanchil lo'hava Yesh. But how do we reconcile with? But first, he's going to prove that Olam Haba is still not the full thing, because in other words, you didn't hit the end. It's like when you get to Olam Haba, the end. There's no more travels. You're here. You have arrived at your destination. Now what? Oh, so he's saying Olam Haba is also only considered still the half, because it's only half the Kesser. And the biggest proof is because it says Tzadikim ein lahem menucha. They don't have rest even in Olam Haba. If you hit already your destination, you're there. There's nowhere to strive for because you're experiencing God's very essence. So where you're running, what else is there to do? Sit back and relax and enjoy, right? But we're saying Olam Haba ein lahem menucha. They have no rest. Is a sim in that what? That there's a journey even over here. They'll go from strength to strength. Like it says, Yase, on the very pasuk that it says, Ayin Asa, no eye has seen it. It says, Yase, it should be done to those who wait for him. So the sages say, the Zohar says on the word Lamachakaloi, that it doesn't, Chaka doesn't only mean waiting, it also means those that squeeze, those that are exerting it. Laman dedayek b'milin dechachma. Those who study Torah diligently and they really learn it be'iyon. Be'iyon meaning with a lot of concentration of mind. So you see from here that what? That this is there is an... Now, what do you see? What is he bringing the Zohar? I mean, to prove that in Olam Haba there is journeys. L'chora, the dayek, the b'milin, the chachma, the exertion that has to happen in the element of chachma is what we do in this world, which enables us to come to Olam Haba. How does he prove from here that even then there is going to be this work? I'm not sure. As stated elsewhere, be'inyan, in the idea of vav alfei shnin dahava alma, the 6,000 years that the world stands, v'chad charuv, and one that is destroyed. So he's talking about that 7th millennia of destruction. What that means. Okay, so it seems like I was a little perplexed. On the one hand, he gave me a whole thing earlier that this is it. You've reached the very essence. Ad Yavar, you finally crossed the final crossing. You reached the top of Mount Everest. You're there. That's all. This is also only called a pras. So it's mashma from Teres Chaim, because in the bottom over here is Mitzayan. He indicates a few memorim. So I did some research. I tried to figure it out. So in Teres Chaim and Parshas Chayei Sarah, he seems to be saying that that's the difference between the beginning of the 7th millennium and the end of the 7th millennium. In the end of the 7th millennium, we're going to reach the Eibishter himself, and at that moment it says there's no more work. Over there it says, because it says, the pasuk says, the Yom Shakulei Shabbos, what over there? Umenucha l'chayei lana. It's a time of rest. It's menucha forever. This that, however, it says Talmidei Chachamim ein lehem menucha. They don't have menucha. Is during the 6th millennium. And during the 6th millennium, even though Keser Shebekesser is revealed, it's the lower half of Keser Shebekesser. That means it seems like in here itself there is dargis. There's 2 levels. There is the chitzonius of this pneumiistic level, and there is the pneumius and atzmus of it. Again, this is what it seems like, but I have no clue about these levels anyways. So whatever it is, it'll be good. I would just say one thing. I'm going to say something very silly, very important. It's going to be good, whatever it is. Whatever it is, it's going to be really good. Right? Everybody agree? Okay. The kamoy the nahar dina mafsik began eden atachten the gan eden elyon. Now he's going back to the river. We said earlier that the river, there's a river that we need to cross in order to get over to this experience. Well, we find that always. There's another river. Between the higher Gan Eden and the lower Gan Eden, there is a river of fire called Nahar Dinor, a river of Nur, of fire. And in order to get from the lower Gan Eden to the higher Gan Eden, you got to get purged in that river of fire. Got to cross that river. Whatever that means. And Chassidus, it explains, you have to wipe your hard drive clean. Because if you remember the pleasures of the lower Gan Eden, you can't handle the higher Gan Eden. It's disturbing. So you need to get a total wipeout. So by getting into that river of fire, it kind of burns out any trace of any experience you've ever had before. Let's not concentrate on that river of fire too much, because I'm already seeing that it's getting to people's imaginations over here. So let's just skip the river of fire. But the main idea is that there is a river of fire between the lower Gan Eden and the higher Gan Eden. So similar to that, and even on a greater scale, is the river that separates between the higher Gan Eden and Eden itself. Mafsik bein Gan Eden atachna Gan Eden elyon. Kach nor is that this river mafsik bein Eden elyon, between the supernal Eden le Gan Eden to Gan Eden. When Mashiach will come, when all the worlds will have an elevation, everything will rise. Eretz Yisroel b'bchinas Gan Eden atachta. Eretz Yisroel will then be in the level of the lower Gan Eden. The Gan Eden atachten, and the lower Gan Eden, yeh b'bchinas Gan Eden ha'elyon. And the lower Gan Eden will then be in the level of the higher Gan Eden. The Gan Eden ha'elyon, yeh b'bchinas Eden. And Gan Eden itself will be on the level of Eden. So everything will rise. Eretz Yisroel will be in the level of Gan Eden, the lower Gan Eden. The lower Gan Eden will be the level of, which will be on the level which was now the higher Gan Eden, will then be the lower Gan Eden. And the higher, everything will experience a massive upgrade. So this is troubling to me, because it would seem like we're going to be down here in Eretz Yisroel. All this experience he explained over here, Gavaldik, we're going to reach Olam Haba, Ad Yava, we're going to cross over. But what helps the crossing if we're in Eretz Yisrael down here? So good, we're going to be an experience of the lower Gan Eden. But that's way far from what we're talking about. The lower Gan Eden is only on the level of the higher Gan Eden, but it's not on the level of Eden. And we were talking about that we're all going to go there. And you can't say we're going to go there after 120, because that's not what Olam Haba is. Olam Haba is meant to be down here, Begufim. And where are we going to be? In Eretz Yisrael. So it's occurring to me right now that it's possible. What it means is the Madrega of Eretz Yisrael itself is going to be the lower Gan Eden. But the Gilui to us in Eretz Yisrael is going to be the Gilui of Eden. The Madrega of Eretz Yisrael itself is going to be, it can't be that this Gilui is happening in Gan Eden Elyon. Adarab, and Chassidus explains all over that all the neshamas are going to leave Gan Eden Elyon to come down into bodies, down into this world to experience the ultimate schar, the ultimate reward. That's what you have to say. I just don't see it. It's hard for me to say something on my own, but I'm not saying on my own. I'm saying based on everything I've always learned. So I don't know what he means in this. And that's why I also don't understand so much the next little piece that we're learning over here. But maybe this is what it means. And that's why it says over there, after the crossing of this river, which is hinted to in the pasuk, Hafach Yam leYabasha, the Eibishter converts the sea to dry land. Banohar Yavru Baregel, in the river we will cross with our feet. What does it say? Sham Nismacha Boy. There we will rejoice in him. Boy Mamish, literally in him. V'hushanikra Niflaois. And this is called wonders. This is delighting in God himself. And this is called wonders. Why? Stima the kol stimen. This level is called the hidden of all hidden keniskaleel. Ubenahar yavru beregel. And in the river we will cross. That means boy. That's the idea of boy. In him himself. Ubenahar yavru beregel. In the river we will cross. Koi is referring al nar sheyotzei me'eden. On the river that goes out of Eden. Shalo yikahu l'zayin necholim. Remember we said before that Mashiach is going to split the other river, the Yam Mitzrayim, into 7 splits. In order to take us into the first experience of Yemosa Mashiach. He's going to split it into 7. But this split is not going to be into 7. Why is that one in 7 and this one not? Because that one is going to come about as a result of us fixing the 7 midos. Again, Bizman Hazeh, we fix the 7 midos of Tohu. And after we fix the 7 midos, and we do the repair in the midos, we merit as a transformation of darkness to light to cross the first river, and that will bring the secrets of the Torah to revelation. So therefore he splits it into 7, because it's a result of the fixing of these 7 emotions. That's why the 7 passageways, it's these emotions that give us access. Once they're repaired, they give us access to this revelation. But this experience is not going to be a derivative from what we've done now, because that's finished. This is going to be a revelation after a revelation. It's going to be related maybe to the work we do after Mashiach comes. It's not going to be related. And in that case, or maybe even though it's produced from what we're doing now, but it's not related to the idea of birurim, of purifications. It's like a gift that's given from God afterwards, but not related. It's not connected to the whole idea of birurim, of tohu and tikkun, because this is beyond tohu and tikkun. Tohu and tikkun is related already to creation. This is beyond creation completely. So therefore, shlo yikol zayin acholim neged zayin midas to tohu, corresponding to the 7 midas of tohu, sheniver bishleimus, which have become completely rectified. Kishamu lamayla mebchenes habirurim. This is a level that's beyond birurim of tohu and tikkun, legamra ki yadu, as it is known v'day lamev. V'zeu yivchar lanu es nachlaseinu. We say God will choose for us our inheritance. Say this before Rosh Hashanah, on Rosh Hashanah, 7 times before Tkiyah Shofar. We say this kapitel in Tehillim, Yivchar lanu, the Eibishter will choose for us, as nachlaseinu, our inheritance. Lahaba, in the future, ba'olam haba. Meaning this is not referring to Eretz Yisrael, that we had already in the past. This is in the future, in olam haba. Shasida Eretz Yisrael, and at that time, when Eretz Yisrael is kind of in that elevated into this state, at that time, Shasida Eretz Yisrael is spashet b'chol ha'olam kulay. Eretz Yisrael will then expand in the whole. Remember, we said that during the time of Mashiach, Eretz Yisrael will include the 3 other nations, but not the whole world. But in the second phase, Eretz Yisrael will be mispashet in the whole world. And over here, the next 2 lines, I totally didn't get what he's talking about. K'moy Gan Eden atachten da'achshav. Just like we know now, the lower Gan Eden, Shemekoimai, where its place is, we're talking about the Gan Eden that's actually in this physical world. It's just a notch higher than what we can see. There is a Gan Eden Atachten in Olam Asiyah, in our physical world. That's where Adam HaRishon was. It's just that since we became coarse, we can't see it. But there is a place, a physical location. So he says over here, Shemakoimai, where is it? Bekav HaShaveh, it's by the equator. So it seems like, since it's by the equator, it surrounds the whole world. Because the equator goes around the whole world. So, similar to that, since he said before Eretz Yisrael will become like the lower Gan Eden, so Eretz Yisrael will be mispashet in the whole world. Again, I'm just guessing around. I don't know what he's talking about. Sheyeh b'yamoysa Mashiach be'Eretz Yisrael lamata kanal. Okay. Ach ba'olam haba amar, but in olam haba it says b'chodesh v'katzet tishbois. This is referring to the ultimate state of olam haba. That's what it seems like from the Parshas Chayesara, Teres Chaim. That means in the end of olam haba, no more work. You're gonna rest then. Shetoitzi ha'aretz kluska'is. The earth is going to produce finished bread, which means there's no more work that needs to be done. Okay, as I mentioned to you, the mimer flows pretty well. This little piece over here, I'm going to leave it with a question mark. We need some more clarification. Yes. That's the final stage with this Torah Menucha, and then Eretz Yisrael will be surrounding the entire world. And now we'll go back to explain Shoirish Inyan Machloikis Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua. Now we get back to the whole argument between Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua about whether tshuva is a requirement for the coming of Mashiach. Rabbi Eliezer said that Mashiach cannot come without tshuva. Rabbi Yeshua said that if we don't do tshuva, God will force us tshuva upon us, and then they go through an argument back and forth, and in the end, Rabbi Yeshua says there is a set time, that when that time comes, the golus has to end, no matter what. And Rabbi Eliezer is silent. So it seems like Rabbi Eliezer agrees. So now he's going to explain the shorish of this machlokes based on what we just learned. Shu machlokes Rav and Shmuel anal, which is also the machlokes between Rav and Shmuel, because Rav says, remember what we said right in the beginning? Rav says, "Kolu kol akutzin." All the kates have been ended already. Ve'ein adavar tolu elo b'tshuva. Today it's only dependent on tshuva. We don't have any more dates. Dates are over, Rav says. Shmuel says, What are you saying? It's dependent only on tshuva. It's enough for a mourner to be in his mourning. He's been in his mourning long enough. God mourned long enough. Hashem is not going to wait till we do tshuva. So now he explains. So again, same achloikas. So he explains. The Rebbe Eliezer, Sfira Le Rebbe Eliezer holds, the im Yisroel oisem tshuva negolim, that if the Jewish people do tshuva, they are redeemed. Vimlav ein negolim, and if not, they're not redeemed. And remember, one of the questions he asked, how come Rebbe Eliezer doesn't mention good deeds? He says only tshuva. Doesn't mention that we also have to do good deeds. Shenemar, and he brings a pasuk, shuvu banim shoivavim, my wayward children do tshuva. And then it says, erpa, when you do tshuva, erpa, I will heal, meshuvayseichem, from your tshuva, I will heal you. And he explains, now we understand why. Once we understand the core idea of Mashiach, what's Mashiach? Core idea of Mashiach is the secrets of the Torah will be revealed to Mashiach. God's inner essential mind will come out and become tangibly experienced. And the world will be flooded with incredible knowledge. Super mind. And the world will be possessed with this. But what does it take to get there? You have to transform darkness to light. Because in order to take something so private, that's so dark, to revealed, takes the toil of all of mankind for thousands of years to transform darkness to light in order to bring out that. Because we cannot have the redemption of Mashiach. Shu Aliyas Knesset Yisroel, which is the elevation of the Knesset Yisroel, of the ensemble of Israel. Shehu B'chinas HaMalchus, which is Malchus, which is all our Jewish neshamas and Eretz Yisrael and everything. For it to be Begimel Rishaynos the Keser Chachma Bina. In order for Malchus to rise so high, to be able to receive the first three, Keser Chachma and Bina, which we said before is so private and unknowable. Liyos nikra segula, so that we should become that we become his upper segel. Remember we spoke last week that there's two levels of segel. There's the lower segel, where it's vayisam li segula, when we're working on fixing the world through Teferes, through Yaakov, through whatever, the power of Torah, Chesed, Gevurah, Teferes, that's the lower segel. And then we're called segula. And after that, we become segula, so we elevate into Keser, Chachma Bina, which is an upside-down segel, called the segulta, where the Keser is on the top and the Chachma Bina are below. So I'm not going to go over it. That's what we learned last class. But in order for this to happen, that's darkness transformed to light. Canal. Ukemoshe Kasov, and as it says, one of my favorite topics this year, Kaisi Revaya, my cup is full. Talking about Mashiach's cup. Kaisi, my cup, which is Malchus. Malchus is a cup, because Malchus is just a recipient, a vessel, feminine, a recipient, to be makabel, to receive. And Mashiach says, and David HaMelech says, Kaisi, my cup, Revaya, is overflowing. And the sages say, it means it's going to contain 200, that the cup of Mashiach, or of David HaMelech in the future, is going to contain 221 lug, which 221 is the gematria of the word Revaya. And in Chassidus it explains, that means that Malchus is going to be drawing its energy from Keser, because Keser is called Erech Anpin, the long face. Now it's receiving only from the Ze'er Anpin, from the small face. Then it's going to be receiving from the Erech Anpin, from the long, which means from the Ein Sof, from the infinite, which is the Gematria of 221. Gematria Erech, which is called Erech Shuhu, the cup of Mashiach is going to hold 221 lug. And I told you, and I mentioned so much that this year is 221 years from the end to the 6th millennium, which is the real Yemois HaMashiach. Especially in this Maayon, you can clearly see it, because 6,000 is already the next crossing. Yemois HaMashiach is this 221 years. We're mamish here now. But Al Kaponim, in order for us to rise to that place, in order to rise into the Pnimius of Chachma, which is the Chachma as it is part of Keser, and the revelations of the secrets of the Torah, from the very concealed state of the essence of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, of the essence of God, Keniska, as we said earlier, that cannot happen, Kiyam al Yadei Tshuva Dafka, that requires Tshuva. Why? Because that's what Tshuva is. Tshuva is taking darkness and converting it to light. Like I spoke last week on the Tuesday night class, I mentioned about Israel taking garbage and turning it into fuel. Trash and turning it into fuel. This is the ability to take the choshech, the darkness of klipas noga. La'or, bebitur ban detoyu, when we do a bitur in the ban. Remember ban 52? We spoke about that last week. The 52 is the part that shattered and fell. That needs to be elevated of the pieces of tohu, of the world of chaos that shattered. Bezayin midos, and these 7 emotions, as we said earlier, sha'oz dafka oila bekeser. Only then will she rise into keser. Lios mezeh hepech b'chinas choshech ha'elyon, and which causes the transformation of the supernal darkness, the tohu of the world of tohu, la'or shalamayla to the supernal light. La'or to light. Shalamayla ma'or de chachma bina, which is higher than the ordinary light of chachma and bina, which we have today. This is the core hidden chachma and bina that's still part of keser for that to reveal itself. You need darkness, so we need to transform darkness to light, because the Eibishter conducts himself with us measure for measure. Whatever we do, he does. Shazau efshar, that's impossible. When we take bad itself and turn it to good. Shehu b'tshuva, which requires dafka, repentance. Shalama, and even more than observance. Observance doesn't really do this so much, because observance just steers us clear from the bad stuff and steers us to the good stuff. Or observance clarifies and separates what's right from wrong from the mixture, but it does not transform the evil itself to good. For that you need repentance. You need tshuva. It's higher than the bitter of Torah and mitzvahs. Torah and mitzvahs only separates between that which is unclean and that which is clean. Toivera, between that which is good and that which is not so good. And the Torah calls out. The Torah is busy pointing fingers. You're pretending to be kosher. No, out the door. It calls out. It's not the whole business of camouflaging. The world is getting very upset today if we're calling out anything for what it is. Ooh, you have to be nice. The reason why the clip is screaming, you have to be nice today, they're getting very insulted, is because it's exactly what we're talking about. Because we're holding now by the ultimate exposure. Everything is revealed. And as long as they're masquerading, so when you call something out, corruption and whatever it is, they get all nervous. That's what the Torah has been doing. But that's Torah. But in order to switch bad to good, that's only through tshuva. Through tshuva. So Rabbi Eliezer says Mashiach can't come without tshuva. That's why Rabbi Eliezer doesn't mention even Torah and mitzvahs. He mentions only tshuva. That's why Rabbi Eliezer only mentioned tshuva. He did not mention good deeds at all. Like he says, Shuvu banim shoivavim, return my children, my wayward children. What's the emphasis? My wayward. Because in order to be able to turn darkness to light, you need people who entered into the darkness. And when they will do tshuva from the darkness, they will convert, because the darkness itself is going to give them the inks and the frustration that's going to drive their tshuva. Because that's the only reason why. Why does tshuva transform darkness to light? Because when you're doing tshuva, you're redefining the negative act that you did. The negative act that chas v'shalom the person did now becomes the impetus to get closer to God. Because you're so frustrated about the distance, it's pushing you. The sin so it comes out, it's part of a mitzvah. It's redefined. What was yesterday seen as something that blocked God is now the biggest push towards Hashem. So it's a mitzvah. But that's only through tshuva. And the only way to do that is by calling back the wayward children, the people that have stuff that they need to run away from. Sheyatzu v'nimshechu. These are the children that sadly, the Jewish people that have sadly gone out, exited. V'nimshechu, and they went out la'olam ha'pirud, and they went into the world of separation 200 years ago. From about 200 years ago, in the last 200 years, millions of Jews exited the Torah and mitzvah range and went into the olam ha'pirud, went into the world of separation that separated from God, went into living a non-godly existence. This is unbelievable. Jews are meant to live a godly existence, and Jews went out from it, living a purely secular life. How did I know? Why? For one purpose, so that they can do tshuva. And they can do the final tikkun. In the 70, where did they enter? They wanted to assimilate amongst the nations. That's the meaning. They assimilated into the 70 ministering angels. They wanted to become American, not Jewish. They wanted to become French, not Jewish. German, not Jewish. They're trying to become. And even in Israel, when they created the Zionist thing, it's also to become a people like the nations, not a people that's not like the nations, that's God's people. We're a nation because of Torah, not because of a land. We also have a land, but our Torah, our allegiance to God. When Jews said that's also entering the League of Nations, away from Judaism, away from observance. And millions of Jews have done that for one purpose, so that they can do tshuva and bring Mashiach. The Klippas Noigas, they went out into the 70 ministering angels of the Klippa. And they became entrenched there. In their sins. Therefore he says, Shuvu banim, return. God calls out, Shoivavim, those that have gone wayward, Chaholchu shoivav b'klipas noiga, those that have gotten themselves far blunted. They've gotten themselves lost in Klipas Noiga, b'derech libam, following the whims of their heart, not the whims of the Torah, not the direction of the Torah. V'hu b'chenas tshuva tata, and this is the tshuva, the lower tshuva. Now here, I think, again, I hope I'm right, the usage of the term of tshuva tata and tshuva ilah is going to be the non-common usage of that term. The general usage of tshuva tata, tshuva ilah that we've been learning in Ageres HaTshuva now is the lower tshuva is two levels in the person doing tshuva. A lower tshuva means doing tshuva from sin, and the higher tshuva is to be reabsorbed in God. You're not doing tshuva from sin, you're doing tshuva from being a creation. You want to cease to be a creation, you just want to be reabsorbed in the Creator. That's the higher tshuva. But both of them as a tshuva of us. In our case, he's going to be using the term tshuva tata as our tshuva, and tshuva ilah as God doing tshuva to us. The return coming from two ways. This is the lower tshuva, shetashav hey tata, the lower hey. Sheyahapech, we turn over min hara, from evil letov to good. V'zehu, and what's going to happen as a result of our tshuva? Erpa, I will heal meshuvay seichem, from your tshuva. The tshuva may be a refuah la'olam. The tshuva brings healing to the world. K'moshe Kasav, like it says, I forgive, the one who forgives all of your sins. Haroife, the one who heals. So you see, refuah comes after forgiveness, after tshuva, l'chol tachli yoichi, from all your ailments. Kidu, as it is known. Through this, through us doing tshuva, what happens? Misoirer b'chinas tshuva ilah. This awakens the higher tshuva. What does that mean? Milmaila lamata, from up downward. That what? Shenikra tashuv hey. In this case, it's Hashem returning to us. Kamoshakos of Yashuv, he will return. Yerachamenu, and have mercy on us. The Isa B'Zoyar, where will he return from? Ma'anasar, where is he returning from? Me'ahu atika stima. He will also do tshuva, because we have to do tshuva from running away from him. He has to do tshuva for running away from us. The fact that he retracts and gets insulted and goes back into himself is wrong. Just like we also do, we get insulted and frustrated and run away from him. The fact that he runs out of the relationship too and returns into his very private self is opposite than the game, We made up a game that we're going to be together here. And we made up that we're going to be engaged, involved in the world. So as we do tshuva, he does tshuva as well. Obviously, when I say wrong on God, please don't throw eggs on me. I'm just explaining it as it is from the Chassidic perspective. In any case, and that's Mashiach. Mashiach is that the private Eibishter is going to reveal himself. This is the Gilui Oyer. This is the light of the concealment of Atzmos Keniskaliyah. So this is Rabbi Eliezer. So Rabbi Eliezer is understood really well. Why Rabbi Eliezer says, you can't have Mashiach, because the essence of Mashiach is that revelation. You cannot have that without tshuva. Amalei Rabbi Yeshua stira lezek. Rabbi Yeshua asked him, well, I have a contradicting verse. Masha Kosev, it says in the Pasuk, this is page Chav Daled, this is already your new packet. You have 2 packets. Here, I'll give you. This is the second packet. Rabbi Yeshua says to him, "Stirul is a contradiction." Masha Kosev, it says in the pasuk, "Chinam nimkartem." Chinam, without payment, nimkartem, you were sold. V'loi b'kesev, and not with money, tigalo, you will be redeemed. You don't have to pay for your redemption. Simply, it means obviously everybody understands you're not making a cash payment. Everybody understands that the money that we're talking about is tshuva and good deeds. The Eibishter says, "I'm taking you back, no charge." Why? Because I sent you into exile. Also, not because of your sins. You think it. Meaning the whole idea that I sent you into exile because of your sins, that was only, a cover-up. I had a purpose for you going into exile anyways. I just wouldn't look nice, so I had to make it into a whole situation that you sinned and that I get angry at you and I kick you out so that, said I can justify it in front of all the other angels over here who are going to get all upset about the whole thing. So therefore, I have to play it this way. Mishum the Golus Yisroel, because the Golus Yisroel beinu umay sa'olam, between the nations, Shechina imam, and because the Shechina also went to exile. The Shechina didn't sin, so why'd she go to exile? Rakadei levarel and etzutzis the kedusha misham, because we needed to extract the sparks. And who made that mess that the sparks are all over? That wasn't us. It's a primordial mess. It's God made that mess. So who's really at fault for the whole exile? It's him. So he's going to charge us to come back? That's what Rabbi Yeshua says. Like it says, we mentioned this pasuk earlier. There is a certain given time that the klipa rules over the holy, but it's to his own disadvantage, because the holiness then goes into its kishke, into its innards, into its stomach, to take out the sparks. And that's what it means for free. Without payment you were sold. Meaning, shaloi b'derech mechira, not in a manner that you were sold b'kesev with money. Umeshicha, and being pulled ba'olam apirut, into the world of separation. Kibanimem, it's not like someone came and paid me for you guys. I think what that would mean is, I'm trying to figure out, I was playing with this today, meaning in my mind, trying to figure out, what does he mean with this? We were not, and he says, let me just finish the sentence. He said, because we're children, we're not servants, a son you can't sell like a servant where you get payment for it. So God didn't get paid for it, but what does he mean deeper? I think what it means is that we were not ensnared. Money means that the chitzonim, the powers of the outside, came and paid us to come into exile. What do you mean come to? Paid us to become disconnected from God. Got us, seduced us into it. That's not what happened. We were sent into this galus, and we got later entangled, of course, in it. But we were sent there, bekavana. That's what I think it means. V'alkein, and therefore memela, therefore automatically, loy bekesef tigalu. Not with money will you be redeemed, which means b'tshuva ma'asim tovim. B'tshuva in good deeds. Elagam kein bechinam. Just like you ended up in galus without payment, you're coming out without payment as well. Afal pi she'ein oisim tshuva ma'asim tovim, even if you don't do tshuva and good deeds. You're going to ask a question. But then how can Mashiach come? Meaning to say, if the whole idea of Mashiach is that darkness needs to be transformed to light, then you didn't do the transformation of darkness to light. Because you didn't do tshuva. So then how, the whole nature of Mashiach is the whole thing doesn't work. So he's going to deal with that later. He's going to deal with that later in how this inyan of Choshech coming to Or can happen even without tshuva. That he doesn't explain now, but he will explain it, yes.
Does Mashiach do the transformation for us?
No, we do it. Mashiach helps us do tshuva. And he's been doing it for the last generation. He got all the Jews to do tshuva already. For Amalei Rabbi Eliezer says to him, so Rabbi Eliezer answers back from another pasuk. Mamasha Kosav Shuva Alai, return to me, Vashuva Aleichem. You're telling me you don't need tshuva. I have a beferish pasuk. It says clearly, God says, I won't. You turn back to me first. I'll turn to you. Shazau why they tshuva tata dafka. It comes dafka through the lower tshuva. Shemachzir panim bepanim. We have to turn face to face. We got to turn our faces to God, and then He'll turn His face to us. Bibchenes tshuva yala, into the higher tshuva means we're turning our face to Him, and He turns His face to us. That's the higher tshuva, back to us. Kenes kaliyah. So you see that your tshuva is going to be required. Rabbi Yeshua. So Rabbi Yeshua answered him. Mamasha Kosav, it says, Ki anoichi ba'alti eschem. It's a pasuk that says that I have been intimate with you. And the pasuk continues. What's the whole pasuk? Maybe he brings it over here. In the beginning of the Maimer. No, I read it from the Gemara last time, but I don't have that passage, that Talmud. It's a Gemara. Is it a Masechtas Pesachim? Let's see where it is. It's a Gemara Masechtas Sanhedrin, which I don't have in front of me, so I can't. Anyways, it says, Anoichi ba'alti eschem shazeu, which means that shazeu rucha deshada begava. Basically, God says, you know, when I took you out of Egypt, I took you to Har Sinai, I've already married you. And I've already married you, meaning to say, and we've been intimate already with each other. And if that's the case, when intimacy with God means that He reveals His absolute truth in you, just like the idea of an intimacy where a husband and a wife become one. It means that He is transmitting from His essence to create a child, which is a duplicate of Himself. So God says, I've already showed you my inner truth, and once you know me in such an intimate way, you're mine forever. So the Zohar says an interesting thing. The Zohar says that that the first, by a woman, the Zohar says the first man that was with her, he puts his spirit in her. Shazahu rucha deshada begava. His spirit, or let's say a first husband's spirit, let's say, has been placed in her. That's why she can't be to another man. How does it work with divorce? And it's a whole different subject. But the idea is that the first husband left his ruach in her. And I think this is related also to the idea of yibum. When a person dies without children, then she marries the brother, and it's considered his children because he placed his spirit in his wife anyways, whatever. And therefore, what the Mittler Rebbe is saying, because God has already so implanted Himself in us, so therefore it's like a chip. He is in us, and that's why we can never get away from Him, because it became part of who we are. And therefore, so He's able to grab us against our will. That's Rabbi Yeshua's answer. In other words, God wants us back; He takes us right back. And in other words, he has something over us. We can't really truly divorce ourselves from our Judaism, no matter what, from our Jewishness. because he could take us bal karchach because of this. Gam shalo yashivu elav, even if we don't do tshuva. Kamoi ki ba'alayich oisayich, the one who was boil you, was intimate with you, oisayich, he made you. V'amalei Rebbe Eliezer, so you see that, in other words, it doesn't have to be a voluntary tshuva. God can just yank us out. Rebbe Eliezer answers back, it says another pasuk, Beshuva v'nachos tivashun. In a calm way, in returning and calmness, you will be helped. So, which means, Kishe yashuvu besimcha v'nachas. When we will return with joy and calmness. V'loi bal karchach, and not when we're grabbed violently back, but in a way that is common. It's coming from us, that we're doing tshuva. So Rabbi Yeshua answers back, Koi Amar Havaya, so says Hashem, Goyel Yisroel, the Redeemer of Israel, Leviza Nefesh, to the shameful soul, Lemetav Goy, to a filthy or nation. And the verse is somehow expressing over there that when the Eibishter says, I'm taking you back, and the nations will wonder about taking back people that are not so clean. Even though they are shamed and they're still filthy. Bagoyim amongst the nations, because of their sins. Yigalu, they will be redeemed. Malachim yiru, kings will see. V'kamu, they will stand up. This is a verse. It's a pasuk. This is a clear indication. Sheyigalu, that we will be redeemed. Gam kamoy shehein metuavim. Even as we are, even if we're still abominable. Bitumasam, in our tumah. Ki shchina shoichen itam, because the shchina is amongst us. So I guess gam betoich timaisa, because the shchina is with us even in our defilement. So God can take us back even in our defiled state. Amalei Rebbe Eliezer answers back, Memashekasov, Im Toshuv Yisroel Elai, if you do tshuva to me, Im Toshuv Yisroel, if you do tshuva, I lie Toshuv, to me you will return. Shemavticham, Hashem is promising them, Shebevadei Alai Toshuv, you will do tshuva. Kamashekasov, Betzar Lecha O Metzuucha, when you will go through pain and all these terrible things will happen, and they will catch up with you, all these negative. You will do tshuva. So in the end, Rabbi Eliezer is insisting that from all these verses it implies that we will do tshuva. And finally, this is Rabbi Yeshua's last argument, and with this he's going to win the argument. Amalei Rabbi Yeshua finally says, Daniel, it's stated in Daniel, the Eshma Esa Ish, I heard the man lavush habadim, dressed in silk. I think that's what badim means. And he says over there, ad ki lamoyed moyadim. And he's speaking, and he says that there will be a time of times. Mashma sheyesh kates bedavar. It implies that there is an end date. There is an expiration date for the exile. And it doesn't depend on anything else. And with this, Rabbi Eliezer was silent. He had nothing to answer. They make Kate to Daniel Mukhrach. From Daniel's Kates, it is an absolutely proven Sheyavoy be'itoy uzmanoi, that Mashiach will eventually come in its time. No matter how it is, Gam she'en Yisrael oisim tshuva ma'asim tovim klal, even when the Jewish people are not doing tshuva and good deeds at all. L'chure ein zeh move on, but l'chure it's not understood. The law mashasik le Rebbe Eliezer al zeh. Why did Rebbe Eliezer fall silent on this? Daloi gama kates hazeh. Even this kates, efshir tolu b'tshuva ma'asim tovim. Maybe it's dependent on tshuva and ma'asim tovim. The imlav, and if not, yu'ukav. It's going to be held back. And now he's going to explain Acha Inyan. Now I started learning this Acha Inyan. I was hoping I'll be able to learn with you tonight until Daf Chav Tes. But I didn't really crack it. I feel like I don't want to teach, especially I know it. So I'll tell you just one nekuda, the main nekuda, and then we'll learn it again, Be'ezus Hashem, on Tuesday night. I'm teaching now twice a week this mimer because I want to get finished. Okay? 8:30 on Tuesday. I don't know when we're going to finish. We're going to finish much after Mashiach is here. So the answer over here is that the reason why the argument from Daniel is the most powerful argument and sets the matter to rest is because basically what he's bringing from Daniel is that there is a time. What's the idea that there is a time? It's related to the idea that even though God is infinite, but when Hashem chose to create a world, Hashem activated a power of tzimtzum, of contraction. And the power of contraction does is it takes everything that potentially can go on forever and ever and ever, because it's Ein Sof, and sets boundaries and limits. And that's why you have the idea that there is the concept that in all Seder Ishtalshalos, and all levels, there's always a Shem Shakai. God created the world with the word Shakai. Shakai is one of his names. Shaddai, enough. Boundary. So Kedusha works with enough. If there wouldn't be this power of enough, then our world would be over flooded with God's truth, and we couldn't possibly exist. So Hashem has to set the breakers everywhere. Filters and screen and breakers. If that's set for the realm of the holy, it also has to be set for the realm of the unholy. Which means that unholiness is also, here's the whole clincher of it. Unholiness is also initially created with an expiration date. And therefore, there will become a time when they will inevitably, on their own, run out of steam. And that's the case. So, tshuva, not tshuva. Once evil disintegrates and collapses on itself, it has to expire. In other words, even if we don't extract the sparks, there's still an essential kates sam lachoshech. Because the entire Seder Ishtalshalos was set up with kitzim, with borders and boundaries. So it can't go on forever. The only thing is, good, so that explains how evil will collapse. And we will get out of gullus. But as we're learning earlier, that you need more than just getting out of gullus. You need these great revelations. That's the true meaning of Mashiach, is this powerful revelation that comes from darkness transforming to light, and you didn't transform darkness to light. On that he explains that once the power of tzimtzum, of contraction, comes to an end, it sets an end to everything. And part of what it sets an end is to all the things that block God. So once it sets an end, since there is a power that sets an end, but one of the things it sets an end on is it sets an end to the very power of tzimtzum. It sets an end to itself as well. Isn't that cool? Because there is a power that sets an end, that makes an expiration date, it makes an there is an expire. I don't know. It expires the expiration too. So it expires the power of din that blocks. Once that's removed, then the entire then basically everything gets flooded with godliness. So then automatically on its own, that which was private because it was kept back, floods. So that also is related again, there is a set time for darkness to end. Once darkness ends, this tzimtzum falls apart. Once the tzimtzum falls apart, it seems, again, this is what I'm making out of it. Automatically, the light will reveal itself, and that will be Mashiach's light. So it's not only a project of Torah and mitzvahs. It could put it this way, it can run the course on its own. That's what he seems to be saying, but there's still a few inyanim that are not clicking so well in the way I'm reading it. So I want to be able to understand that better before I teach it. So it's interesting that I don't know if you realize, but I was planning last week, Thursday night, to actually get to this part. Or actually, I was getting to get to the part of Ma'ata Yuvan on page Chav Gimel. Last page I made copy. Now we did already Tuesday and Thursday, and we only got one page further. So I'm also like deeply, deeply tired. And I'm not happy about that. I don't know why I'm so tired. Hey. Yeah, maybe that's what it was. But that was yesterday. Hmm? This, I'll read it once, and I'm going to have a lot of questions. Things won't make any sense, and I'll read a little further. So first I'll do it, and then when you read something, you just agree, you're okay with not understanding everything, but so then you start getting a little bit of an idea where he's going with it. Then you have to read it again, and when you read it a second time, then you're already trying, and then you're stopping, and you're seeing, and then you like etch out the next few lines, and then sometimes Itaka gets stuck. So being that in the bottom, almost for everything that he says, he brings other references. So you open up others. In some places, what he's saying over here very briefly is elaborated in another mimer or in another place. So that, and then that can smooth it out. That's the way. And then if it doesn't work the second time, you try a third time. And then hopefully you break through. Yep. L'chaim. Mashiach now. Then you wonder, how did he know all of this? Okay. Take care.